Okay, here we are now in chapter 39, and I'm at page 973. Okay, I want to talk to you a little bit about cat rigging and the philosophy behind some of the more advanced functions of customizing the cat rig. If you remember when we were talking about bones, we were talking about how you can change the fins on the bones to kind of match the geometry of your mesh object. That way you can shut the mesh down, animate the rig, and have it basically approximate the size of your mesh. That way it's much more interactive and fast as you're animating. So the same philosophy holds with cat. So here I went ahead and opened the alien cat rig, and as we notice, we see this blockhead here, but we notice on page 973 that it's a nice roundy face with spherical eyes and a nose. Okay, so the author wants to put the point across that you can change the geometry of the cat rig. There's nothing necessarily special about the geometry, so you can go ahead and change it. Now, why change it? Why do you want to go ahead and modify it? The reason being is that if the cat rig closely emulates your mesh, it's more apt to accurately accurately skin the mesh once you go to skinning. So in other words, if I'm just making a stupid example, if you take a look at the cow head on page 972, if you have a small, cat rig skull residing in this big cow head, you're apt more to have an error the longer distance the cat bone is from the mesh. So the philosophy is, again, to get the cat mesh as close to the cat bone as close to the mesh as possible. Okay, hopefully I didn't goof that up so much, but anyway, that's kind of the philosophy. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to modify this head here, and so that it'll be more the shape of the alien character. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and select the head here, and we want to go to modify, and we're going to maybe not modify, let's go here under the create, and we're going to be under the hub here. Now remember that every one of these limbs is considered a hub. Okay, the arm, the leg, the head, the neck, everything's a hub. So I just kind of want to remind you, as we were in class last Wednesday, we were creating the head for our characters during the tutorial by using the spline to create the head. And this is the kind of exercise that we'll use to actually modify the top of the spine, that last bone of the neck, to kind of shape the head. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to use the custom mesh here. We want to invoke that, and then let's see what else we have down here. Nothing there, so we want to invoke the custom mesh, and then we want to go ahead and add a oops, went the wrong one. Plunking too fast. We want to add a Turbosmooth onto this mesh. Turbosmooth. See, and it made the head dinky here, so what we can do is we can go ahead and scale that up. Scale it up this way. Let's see. Pull that down. Scale it up this way. Maybe a little bit more. And right there. Okay. That looks good. Okay. Good enough for government work. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to introduce 2 or 3 spheres, 2 for the eyes and then one for the nose. So let's go ahead and create the standard object sphere, and we want to go ahead and auto grid. And auto grid will magnetize the location of our spheres onto the mesh of the alien head here. And I'm going to give him a big nose there. Okay, that looks good. Okay, okay, now that we have the eyes the two eyes and the nose and the head here. What we want to do is we want to place an edit poly modifier on the head here, because we cannot attach these three spheres onto the head without the head being a polysphere or a poly object. So let's go edit poly here, and then all we got to do is navigate to attach, and we just are going to click on the things we want to attach to that skull there, or that head. And notice these are now all part of the alien head. They're all basically one unit now. All we need to do is navigate over back to the modifier window here, and we want to collapse all, say yes to the warning there, and there we go. So now the cat rig has been modified to incorporate these eyes and the nose. Okay, and you can also move down to the limbs, and if you wanted to, let's say, let me move this arm up here and get a little closer. You can also use the graphite modeling tools to slice and dice some of these limbs and expand them out. I'll do that right now for you. Okay, so let's say this alien creature here had a muscular arm there. So what I could do is go in here and under the modifier list, and then make it a editable poly, and then go down to the graphite tools here. Oops. Okay, and then go ahead and do say a swift loop right here. Okay, and that's all I want to do. Okay, now all I need to do is go down to the bottom. Let me close this up because it's in my way. Up. There we go. And I want to go to vertex mode, and I want to not be in view, but I want to be in local. So here I want to go ahead and scale this, not everything up, but just these vertices. Be real careful. Yep, there are vertices there. Let me select those again. And view. Hopefully that's the reason why I want to be at local. No? Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's doing what I wanted it to do. Okay. So it's just these white lines that are kind of fooling me. Go back to the edit poly mode here. Or I'm sorry, the top of the stack, and say yes. Okay, so now I have this arm that shows this muscular area here. So all I need to do now is kind of, if I wanted to copy it over here, all I need to do is, let's see if I remember right, drag this over, and now, bam, now I've got the arm duplicated on this side. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start a new drawing. And no, I don't want to save this. And new all. Okay. And let me go back to, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go create a new rig. So I'm going to go to create a helper object. And I'm going to go down to cat objects. And I'm going to use the parent here. And I'm not going to use one of the predefined, but I'm going to just start building it from scratch. And what I wanted to point out here is how to start to set up your naming convention. Okay, so I want to show you that by starting your naming convention here. Let's see, back to W. Oops, missed that. Well, let me go ahead and create it first. Hang on. Let me say none. I'm just going to put the base down here. There we go. And then I can come back up here and say that name of the first bone here is character. And I'm just going to call it Alex, just for the sake of just having a name up there. Okay. And the name of the Okay, I went ahead and erased the alien character, started off with a fresh screen here, and what I wanted to show you is how to prefix your cat rig with a name that will help you keep things organized as you get to animating and modeling some more, or skinning, whichever way you go. So anyway, so let me go ahead and create the cat rig helper. I need to go to cat objects, cat parent, and let's see. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and, no, I'm not going to change the name now. I can't enter anything in there until something's created. So I want to go ahead and create the base right here. And notice that this got populated with cat rig. Okay, so what I want to do is change that to Alex dash. All right. And as soon as I invoke that, whoops, let me touch that again. Okay, the hopefully the controller object there is going to be prefixed with Alex. So, but what I want to do is I want to start adding different elements to my cat rig. So I'm going to go create a pelvis. I went to the modifier, and that's how this popped up. And the pelvis is sitting right there. And if we notice, the pelvis is the hub one, but it got a Alex prefixed onto it. Okay, so if I went to select by name, I can see the Alex hub right there. Okay, so imagine if you had 3 characters and you've seen at least all the bones would be prefixed with the character's name. Okay, and as I add a leg onto the onto my pelvis there, notice that as soon as I select it, it's Alex left leg. Okay, so you kind of see where I'm going with this. That you can kind of like name all of your bones just by prefixing that one area. Okay, that one little dialog box.